Hey, you want to know the future of blockchain in retail and CPG supply chains? That's why we asked Dr. Matthew Leotine to facilitate this panel and answer this very important question for us. Hello, Doctor. Welcome to the show.
Yes, hi, Gene. Thanks, and you just can call me Matt.
Matt, it is. So, Matt, theme number 5, blockchain versus alternative approaches. Tell us what this question is asking.
Yeah, sure, Gene. Well, this theme centered around looking at blockchain in terms of its uniqueness relative to other technologies. We've had a series of themes prior to this, and some of the things that we've established is, first of all, that blockchain offers huge benefits, particularly in the consumer product goods industry. And one of the things that we saw is that what it can do is really lead to a lot of cost reductions and cost efficiencies if used in the right applications. The panel that they gave us numerous examples of case studies demonstrating blockchain potential, areas of traceability, provenance, authenticity, integrity, safety, all these things which are possible using this technology. And even though blockchain has been praised for many of its benefits, it's still a challenge for many companies to assimilate blockchain solutions into their operations. It's still not there yet. What we've seen is that one of the challenges right now is being able to prove in blockchain. Is it the right solution for what I want to do? In this theme, what we tried to do is tackle this question. One of the ways we did this is to look at several aspects with regard to the CPG supply chain. What elements in the CPG supply chain drive the need for blockchain versus alternative approaches? What kinds of conventional solutions are there, and what new technologies could be used in addition to blockchain? So that's kind of was the thrust of what we were looking at here.
Well, it sounds like an interesting and complicated conversation. Tell us about the group of experts that sat on the panel.
Yeah, we had an interesting group of experts here. They come from all walks of life. Some of them are in industry as work in companies in the CPG area. Some are executives, some are consultants and strategists. I say most of them have a lean towards technology and technology transfer. Many of them have worked or are working currently in the CPG field. So we have a really broad, diverse group of people, and they've been really giving us some interesting perspectives, some on the real technical side, some on the more broad business side as well. So, and this really gave us a lot of good content to work from.
So in your executive summary, you have 4 macro points that we're going to get into in just a second. Tell us about it.
Again, after we had a lot of back and forth on the issues on this topic, we ended up with these 4 tenets. And this is really a foundation for our next theme, which I'll talk to you about a little bit later. As I said before, one of the things we found was, yes, there are alternative approaches using conventional technology that can do some of the provenance, some of the guarantees, some of the immutability, the traceability, and so on that blockchain can do. However, one of the things we found is that in migrating to blockchain, one of the ways to do this is to maybe perhaps use blockchain as a way to augment existing capabilities. You could take an existing database and use blockchain to supplement that database with some features versus replacing the entire database with blockchain, which is kind of radical to do. So we saw that maybe bringing in blockchain as an augmentation to existing features and capabilities is probably a way to migrate more towards a blockchain implementation. So that was one point. The second point was that even though you could try to bring in blockchain to maybe support current business models and current business operations, what we're seeing in industry today is a drive to newer kinds of business models. There's this whole thrust towards democratization of technology, putting more capabilities in the hands of the users and consumers, giving consumers more access, kind of like what Uber and Airbnb are doing. Well, these kinds of business models might be a prime application for blockchain. So what we're seeing here as these newer business models develop, this is where blockchain now could come in and say, hey, we can do a lot more to achieve these business models and technology models using blockchain versus using some of the conventional technologies.
Great. So let's go ahead and get into your key point number 1 then, which is alternative conventional solutions besides blockchain.
Yeah, well, both of these comments really center around the concept that cloud technology is now pretty much prevalent and for many applications. And so, well, cloud is an enabler for blockchain. Much of blockchain implementations rely on having the cloud available. So, but in the interim, there are companies out there that are using the cloud as a way to achieve some of the fundamental aspects of blockchain. And so this can provide really a good alternative solution and maybe even a cost effective in terms of onboarding in a company versus trying to replace current capabilities with blockchain. And there are companies out there that are using cloud as an integration platform to integrate information at the same time keep it decentralized. And 5 years ago or even 10 years ago, it was quite difficult to do that, but the way cloud technology has progressed, it's become a lot more cost effective to do it this way versus using a blockchain, where there are many unknowns.
Right. So in key point number 2, you do provide some examples of preferred uses of blockchain.
Yeah, like I said before previously, we talked about being able to authenticate and track and trace and proof of provenance and these kinds of features that blockchain has been praised for. But one of the things that we see a drive towards is this concept of, as it says here, self-authentication, having the consumer, putting the information and capabilities in the hands of the consumer to immediately authenticate whether a product complies with what they're looking for in terms of maybe its ingredients, whether it was sustainable, ethically sourced, and so on. These are the kinds of things that consumers now, as they become more and more capable and intelligent using technologies, they will try to look for these kinds of features in their products. And maybe some consumers are willing to pay for this kind of thing too. This is where it takes us to a new kind of business model.
Key point 3, new technology alternatives. Now, it's a little early to know what's going to be new, but take a whack at it.
Yeah, well, there's other stuff out there other than blockchain. Blockchain might have a little bit of an edge right now, a little bit more momentum than some of these other technologies like Tangle, Hashgraph, Radix. Rada is also kind of a spin-off of Ray technology. And all these technologies are out there, and I don't think we've had enough time to examine the merits of these technologies and what role they can play in trying to achieve some of the things that people are looking towards blockchain to do. So it's just a matter of time after we do some use cases, more investigation with these technologies to see whether they have merit as well. I think what's going to happen is you'll see, all of these technologies being used in different types of situations. Blockchain is a technology that could be useful for many different types of things, but there could be technologies out there like these that you see here that might do the job better, and they might be more cost effective. So improving in a blockchain solution, a person has to ask the question, first off, can I do this using conventional methods that might be even cost effective than using a blockchain implementation, and maybe that might be less risk? Or maybe I can try to investigate using some of these new methods as well, like we see here.
And do you think blockchain was boosted up a little bit by Bitcoin being so radical and kind of sexy?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole cryptocurrency market has probably put blockchain more in the limelight than some of these other technologies. But some of these technologies are also going to have some kind of cryptocurrency impact as well. It just remains to be seen how everything plays out.
All right, Matt, great conversation with a great panel. Tell us about the 3 that really stood out for you guys.
Yeah, well, these 3 gentlemen really had a strong role. They provide a lot of good technical expertise, a lot of cool ideas too, and they also provided some affirmation of some of the things that other panelists were saying as well. So the volume of content they provided and the frequency of their contribution was really outstanding in this whole panel.
Well, you did an outstanding job walking us through the slides here today, so I appreciate your time. Look forward to our next conversation and the next theme, which again, will you tell us again what it's going to be about?
Yeah, basically what we're going to do is explore a case study looking at where we can use a blockchain implementation or how we can use a blockchain implementation to do the sort of thing that I was talking about, where consumers can walk in to a store or even online and try to immediately get some kind of affirmation or confirmation of the product that they're buying in terms of its components, where it was sourced, how it was sourced, whether or not it's a lemon or not, and whether or not the ingredients meet their own criteria.
Look forward to our next conversation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gene. Good talking to you.
Sure. Dr. Matthew Leotine. He is a professor at the University of Illinois, Chicago. He is also the director of the Next Gen for Exponential Technology, which experiments with disruptive technologies such as blockchain, IoT, AI, and things like that. We'll talk again.
Thank you very much.